Hi everyone, my name is Robert Vernick and welcome to episode 8 of Wine Terroir. Before we jump into the episode, I want to give you a little update. I'm changing the format so that the episodes can be a little shorter and a little bit more frequent. Instead of having episodes that are going to run 10-15 minutes, I'm going to try to break up the educational part in one episode and then have tasting episodes, one per bottle. That way we can kind of talk about the wine in depth and go through that quickly. Some people may be interested in the wine reviews and some people may be just interested in the knowledge aspect. Let me know what you think about the format. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about Prosecco, which is Italy's most popular sparkling wine from northeast Italy. Let's talk a little bit about Prosecco. So, is it a wine or is it a grape? Well, up in 2009, it was both. In 2009, the grape called Prosecco was renamed to be Glera. Now, Glera is not the only grape in Prosecco, but it is the main workhorse grape, and it is a white variety. And fairly aromatic. There are a few indigenous varieties that are also permitted in the blends, Verdicchio, Pereira, and Bianchetto, but those are usually very small percentages of around 10% of the blend at most. Some smaller producers use a bit more. There's also international varietals that are allowed to be blended in, like Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, and Pinot Bianco, but those are capped at a maximum of 15% of the blend, and usually to add either something that one of those grapes provide, like body or alcohol or color, something like that. So why did they change the name of the grape? Well, this is the first step in protecting the region so that other people in other regions and other countries could grow the Glera grape and make wines from it, but not call them Prosecco. The next one was looking at the region and where it's actually grown and how do they protect that region. Well, the majority of Prosecco is grown just northwest of Venice in the Veneto, but there are also areas in Friuli that grow the Glera grape. And in fact, there's actually a town in Friuli called Prosecco. So in 2009, they expanded the region by almost 2.5 times in order to encompass that town. By expanding the region so much, they essentially gained a lot of land that can make wines technically called Prosecco DOCG wines. However, a lot of those wines or vineyard area is on flatland, which is not the best sites to grow the Glera grape. In fact, if you look at the most popular area for growing it, it's almost always on a hillside. They had to do something to elevate the status of the original area that was known for producing Prosecco, and so they basically registered it as a DOCG, which is basically a denomination of origin but guaranteed higher quality, the G for guarantee. This area is largely in the province of Treviso, and between two towns, one is Valdobbiadene, which is in the west, and also Conegliano. And in between those is essentially lots of small hills and little valleys and in nooks and crannies where the grapes are grown and actually are most successful. And so now those wines are labeled as Prosecco Conegliano Valdobbiadene Superiore DOCG, which is a lot to say. In addition to that, the wine region wanted to diversify and start to highlight some of the microclimates that are in this region. And so they identified 43 communes or hamlets, whatever you want to call them, but they're locally called rive. And these can now be labeled on the bottle, so you can say, you can see a Prosecco Conegliano Valdobbiadene Superiore, whatever the rive's name, DOCG. And the only difference is that those, couple differences. One of the differences is that usually those will be vintage wines, because most of the other DOC or DOCG wines are going to be non-vintage. So those will typically be a vintage, and they have slightly lower maximum yields. So that means that less grapes can be grown per hectare, which typically increases the quality of the grapes. There's still one more DOCG right across the river from Conegliano Valdobbiadene, and it is called Colli Assolani. And this area has even lower maximum yields, for the grape, so in theory produces even better wines. I have not tasted as many Colli Solani as I have of the Conegliano Valbedeni wines, but they are something to look out for. And last but not least is a special cru of Cartesi. And this sub-region is about 100 hectares, about 250 acres, and produces some of the best wines of the region. And these wines are also the most expensive and are typically done in an extra dry style, which is the most common style in Italy. Which is a good segue to our next topic and last topic, which is the confusing labels on Prosecco bottles to tell you how much sugar is actually in the wine. Here are the different labels that you can see of Prosecco from sweetest to driest. So there's dry, extra dry, brut, extra brut, brut nature. So what do all those names mean? So dry isn't actually that dry, which is a little confusing. It's anywhere from 17 to 32 grams per liter of residual sugar, which is easily off dry to, I would say, medium dry, if not medium sweet. Then there's extra dry. And extra dry is the sort of ideal preferred way to consume Prosecco for most people in Italy as well as other places. This is anywhere from 12 to 17 grams per liter of residual sugar. And a lot of people say that you need to have this residual sugar in order to highlight the fruit aromas that you're going to get, especially that pear aroma that you're going to get naturally from the grape. You need to have some sweetness to carry it forward. Then there's brut, and brut is anywhere from 0 to 12 grams per liter. So 0 to 12 is a pretty big range from bone dry to off dry. They've then made two other subcategories inside of that. So you could have something labeled brut that runs the gamut. But they're usually probably going to be anywhere from 9 to 12 on average. But the range typically is 0 to 12. And then there's brut or extra brut, which is under 6 grams per liter. And then there's brut nature, which is under 3 grams per liter. So that's it for this episode. I hope you found some interesting information about Prosecco. In the next 2 episodes, in each episode I'm going to taste one Prosecco and do a wine review. Those episodes should be fairly quick. If you like the new format, please let me know. Leave a comment. Give me a like, and if you really like the show, please subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and you can follow us on social media. Thanks for watching. Cheers.